Hello, thank you for joining me. Today I'll be going over the journal article Short Biceps Femoris Fascicles and Eccentric Knee Flexor Weakness Increases the Risk of Hamstring Injury in Elite Football, written by Ryan Timmins. As we have all read the article, I'm going to go over how we can implement its findings into our elite football, soccer, how I like to call it, team for prevention of hamstring strain injury due to its common occurrence within our club. Alright. Here I have outlined key points of the article that I found to have relevance to our club as follows. Majority of hamstring strain injuries occur in the biceps femoris long head. The article identifies two modifiable risk factors that includes short fascicle length of the biceps femoris long head and reduced eccentric knee flexor strength. It also identifies two non-modifiable risk factors that includes previous hamstring strain injury and age. These both pose a major risk to our athletes. When an athlete has multiple of the above risk factors, they have an even higher probability of sustaining a future hamstring strain injury. The level of risk related to age and or previous injury can be mitigated with greater levels of eccentric knee flexor strength or longer bicep femoris fascicle length. The demands of the sport create an environment for hamstring strain injuries to occur. This is due to the amount of high intensity activity. Hamstring strain injuries are the largest cause of time loss within our sport. I've also added some statistics for us to quickly go over. 88.8% of the initial hamstring strain injuries occur in the biceps femoris long head. This one here is just comparing an older athlete compared to a younger athlete with the same biceps femoris fascicle length, and just the difference in probability of them sustaining a hamstring strain injury is quite different. Also, 81.5% of initial injuries occur during high-speed running. On average, an average of 28.4 days lost due to injury and 7.8 matches missed per club per season due to injury. Alright, so article relevance to our club. Hamstring strain injuries are the most prevalent injury within elite soccer, resulting in the most amount of time loss in both competition and training, as seen in the statistics in the previous slide. It has also been found that there is an upwards trend in hamstring strain injury occurrence over the last 2 decades, and has one of the largest reoccurring rates when compared to other injuries within elite soccer. As mentioned, majority of hamstring strain injuries occur during high intensity activities, specifically high-speed running, which accounts for 9% of total match time depending on player position. Hamstring strain injuries are more prevalent in elite soccer when compared to other competition levels, and at elite level we have athletes aged between 17 and 40 years old. 22% of athletes suffer from recurrence of hamstring strain injury within the first 2 months of the initial injury being reported, and 25% suffer from injury recurrence during the following competitive season. Due to the demands of our sport, it's very important to identify our athletes' needs to be able to mitigate possible risk, and taking away information from this study will prevent us with future injuries from occurring. Implementing the research. So, as we know, the study used ultrasound imaging to assess the fascicle length of the biceps femoris long head muscle by bringing in a sonographer to assess each athlete. It's not really applicable for us, for our club, to do ultrasound imaging on our athletes to measure fascicle length of the biceps femoris long head, due to it's hard to access and it's quite pricey. In the future, this may change as it is becoming more common within our sport, to further provide preventative measures for our athletes, although this process proves to be more time consuming compared to alternative measures, as it must be performed on each athlete individually with outsourced help. Each athlete who participated in the study also completed a retrospective injury questionnaire to identify previous injury history within the past 12 months. Each assessment took place during pre-season to determine probability of sustaining an injury and identify the athletes with higher risk. To implement this into our club, assessment should be taking place to ensure correct monitoring of the athlete who pose a higher risk to sustaining a future hamstring strain injury, and may assist in identifying athletes thought to have the shorter bicep femoris long head fascicle length due to injury recurrence. Keeping a record of injury history, highlighting those athletes who have previously sustained a hamstring strain injury and categorizing them as high risk should allow us to facilitate them in strength building through exercise interventions. Eccentric knee flexor strength was assessed using a Nordic hamstring device, performing the assessment with bilateral maximal effort. Investing in at least one Nordic hamstring device, for example, a NordBoard, to conduct fitness assessment for our athletes, eccentric knee flexor strength is feasible, as this will allow us to further identify athletes with a weakness in strength. My recommendation is to not only perform pre-season assessment using the two methods previously listed, but also implementing mid-season assessment of eccentric knee flexor strength to further evaluate and monitor each athlete's risks and see how their progress is going. In addition to my proposal, I believe we should start implementing a Nordic hamstring exercise that can be performed during training. This exercise can simply be performed with athletes partnered up, one performing the exercise and one assisting. I will play a video so we can see how it is performed. Alright, this video is just loading, but as you can see in the video, the athlete is performing the exercise with the assistance of another teammate. The goal is to have as much control in the eccentric phase, lowering to the ground slowly. This loads the hamstrings, and it has been proven to be provide the most force through the biceps femoris long head than any other hamstring exercise. Alright, so the benefits of this exercise, it has proven to increase fascicle length of the biceps femoris long head in 6 weeks or more and improve eccentric strength. The intervention does not require many reps to be performed each week, as effective adaptations was seen when performing about 23 to 48 reps per week and lasted no more than 10 minutes each time it was performed. For progression of the exercise, a weight can be held by the athlete to increase load on the hamstrings to continually induce training adaptations. Otherwise, no additional equipment is required to perform the exercise, keeping it quite low cost. It is important for us to mitigate risk of injury for our athletes, as it has been shown in research how time loss can affect both the club and athlete. On average, a club will spend $41,000 due to time loss, which is a large financial burden on the club for players who are unavailable to participate. The average time loss is 28 days, as mentioned before, and the occurrence of injury impacts player performance. Implementing my recommendations will provide a benefit to the club, as less money will be spent on time loss and athletes will be able to perform. Other considerations include the loss of adaptations during off-season. It has been proven that prolonged pause from training stimulus can result in fascicle length to revert to pre-training length and see a large reduction in eccentric knee flexor strength. It is important to prevent this from occurring by implementing an off-season training program to ensure all progression is maintained. I'd like to thank you. I believe we can start working towards applying these methods as soon as possible for the benefit of our team in preventing hamstring strain injuries and mitigate risk for our athletes. Thanks.